All right, shalom, shalom. I believe we're live. We're gonna double check, make sure the video and the sound is okay, and then we're gonna jump right into it. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem, Shai Bashem, Kakadash.
Yeah, what up?
Okay, volume and everything, sound, everything. What-
Shalom. Right, and you from Grand Rapids, brother?
Ben,
Been on mission.
Bernard, Michigan. With our honored guest from Bernard, Michigan,
Ben Harbor.
Ben Harbor. And we first and foremost, we want to give all honors to our apostles, to our elder bishops, to all our fellow laborers, you know, that are around the four corners of the earth, and you know, that are doing this work, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. You know, to the scattered that are scattered among the heathen nations, all right, that look like the heathens. Few are out there listening and learning. You know, we say shalom, and we're just going to go in on a couple different subject matters. One being that the law still stands because we had a court that came up to camp. You know, yeah, he got cut pretty badly, but he didn't show it until after the fact. You know, after the cameras went off, then he really came out. But yeah, we're gonna show that, and then also maybe go into a little history and the reason why somebody hold and why people think like he thinks. He doesn't even realize that he's regurgitating the man-made doctrine that came about during the Renaissance. Christianism, as Hebrewism, Christianism is just a made-up doctrine of man. It's not scriptural at all. The Bible is a book of law, statutes, and commandments about and the heritage of the Lord's people. Right, about what happened to them, they rise, they fall, and they rise again. That's what the Bible is about. And their kings returning. First and foremost, King Yahushua, and him. It's all about. So this book, the Bible is excellent people in the world, man. All right, that's basically what it is, and people don't want to admit to that. And there's certain laws, statutes, and commandments that govern our people, and the fact that we didn't keep them is why we're in the condition that we're in today.
Okay, Baba, right? Can anybody who's on the Wi-Fi please get off Wi-Fi? If you're on our Wi-Fi, so we can have an easier stream. Slack it.
All right.
So this is the book of the commandments of the Most High and the law that endure forever.
The law endures forever. It never goes away. So if you read that it's been fulfilled, that means he said, I'm here. It didn't say fulfilled with the ED on it in the end of it. He said he's here to fulfill, to keep the law. And it's amazing to me. So why for bringing up the Middle Age? It's amazing to me how people that goes right over people's heads, and how what they in the so-called white.
It says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
And that's what happened. We've all died. Horrific deaths over and over again ever since we left. That's part of our punishment. All right?
May I bring up?
Go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Now, in Daniel, it talks about how that to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he.
17, somebody backing up.
Mm-hmm. It says the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he giveth it to whomsoever he will. So here it is. The king is talking about this earth. When you're ruling over the earth, now you have the kingdom. You have rulership. And so all nations of people have ruled at one point in time. And it says right here in Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. It's translated from one nation of people to another nation of people, because the one who was ruling at the time, they ruled with unrighteousness. So they ruled with ingredients for a downfall.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's just like time after time after time again. It's like, okay, well, you try your way. Oh, did you fail ultimately? Okay, it didn't work out. All right, next up. All right, next nation. You try your way.
Let's put women in charge.
Yes, yeah. Whatever way you think that you have outside of the righteousness of the Most High God, because he got something he called righteousness. See, but you have these heathen nations who, when they get on top and ruling over all other nations, they're going to rule what they think is righteousness. So, but the Bible actually calls their way unrighteous. Because there's only one set of rules and regulations that ultimately equals unto righteousness.
But be real honest with you, brother,
I'm
not
sorry.
to correct you.
Okay, that's all
I
right.
have never heard a
I
nation
correct you.
ever even promote that whatever they think is righteous. Not one time I heard the Chinese say, "We are the righteous people, and this is the righteous book." Not one time.
Right.
Nobody promotes righteousness except Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the righteous men of the Lord. And they come, whoever come under the scriptures, that's what the righteousness. I've never seen any. Matter of
Got a
fact,
scripture for you.
God.
Going off both what you both said.
Come on.
Isaiah 8:20. It says, "To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them."
So there it is. All these nations, they rule with darkness. All right, dark ways.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Come back up.
Yep.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 8, and I'm gonna get to the point, verse 7. It's going to the she or her is wisdom, and if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues. So to have actual, because they don't call it righteousness, they call it morality.
Mm-hmm.
They say they humanitarian. Right? But to be truly moral, to have true virtues,
Come on.
Yeah.
to have this wisdom, to have these. That's during the 4th chapter. It says the heathen should look and say, "What nation is this that have laws as righteous that the Lord has given them?"
Right.
All right, and also during the 4th calls that law of wisdom. So this goes right with that. This is what virtue is. This is what you know right from wrong. This is what you know more. This is how you know morality. What the Lord says. And guess what? A man, an 89-year-old man fucking a 13-year-old that already had a cycle in the past. That's okay and righteous in the eyes of the Lord.
That's right.
2 sodomites, that's wickedness.
That's right.
But they
Point
promote
blank,
that.
period, man.
They
Yeah.
promote that.
Oh yeah. Oh
A
yeah.
man having multiple wives, that's okay in the eyes of the Lord, man. All right, but you got a society where these bitches hopping dick to dick, man. But then that's okay.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
feminism. That's they're free to die, man.
Brother, I just heard a video. Who broke it down?
She had the cardboard on.
No.
Oh, it's another one.
Said basically, this woman said that women are not held accountable
Exactly.
for anything that they broke it down. She said a woman can she has what do you
I know
call
she
birth
wrote it.
control stuff? So so that pushes promiscuity.
Promiscuity.
Thank you, brother. That word I always get stuck with that word.
Okay.
That pushes that them being promiscuous.
She a promiscuous
And
pedestrian.
then-
like some next.
And then damn.
She like it, so I knew you was going
Then
like
he
that.
said, and then if they do happen to get pregnant from all being promiscuous activity, they can just go murder their baby. All right.
God.
But then, or even more so, what they can do is that they're unhappy in their marriage. They can go and get with a whole other man while she already has children, and then the man that she's with actually has to pay child support and alimony to her when she's the one who initiated the separation. All right, and and it's just, and so they're women are rewarded, and then if a woman can't afford to take care of her children, then they have state shelters and women funds and all these different things to support them. But a man that can't take care of his children because he can't afford it, he gets thrown in jail and labeled a deadbeat and all kind of and then and lose employment and credibility and his licenses and everything else.
See,
So they can't take care of damn children.
Exactly.
so here it is. These sets of rules and regulations of this world, if it comes from the mind of a man, then it's gonna be ways that's gonna end in death, man.
Hey,
And,
Salaki.
and people are cool with that.
Hey, real quick, when you go into the law, it say that the woman shall leave with no money,
Yeah.
and the man take the children. The children stay with the man. That's his lineage. A man gotta give his daughter over. A man gotta show his son the laws, statutes, and commandments. A man, hey, the scriptures say 3 times a year shall all your males appear before me.
Lord, that's
How
right.
the fuck a bitch gonna show a man that?
Because this is what Esau did. Esau knew, in order to attack the Israelites, you must attack the Israelite man. So their whole thing is to exactly, and they elevated, and they started on the plantations. People know the elevation of women. Back in the 1500s, 1600s, there was no white women being free to do the shit that they doing today. They did those rules in Willie Lynch letters. They specifically said put the woman over the man.
that's-
Like,
You know what?
over
Can
God.
I say this real quick, and then we got to finish what Big Ark was reading too. You can't forget we started with Baruch. But you have to understand, man. The so-called white man has been abandoning his children all along, and
That's
well before Jake,
Shit,
right?
back in
And it gets goes why? Because because what did they label them? They labeled them the bastard.
Yes.
Every show you watch, you always had all these bastards running around
Yep, sure.
there
Offspring.
when they took over after the medieval time. You always had these women stayed loyal to their men is because you were unwanted if you had children and no husband.
That's right.
All right. Something it was looked at. If your husband didn't die, like in war or something like that, you would like, what the hell? Why do you got sons and daughters but you have no husband?
That's it.
Something. They're right, and then they just became whores.
That's it.
They actually that became their
Profession.
their profession because they had no other way of supporting and taking care of themselves. All right. If you had no family to fall back on, you were just screwed. So. But and then women, and then you had this group of women that came along and called that oppression. All right, well, family stayed together during those times.
Yes. You go ahead.
This is Michael. Like you said, about because these rules and laws and whatnot that this Edomite put in place. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Like you said, our law, statutes, and commandments was written that the women walked away with nothing. They were with the man's kids and everything else. Now, whatnot, the kids are left behind, and he's got to pay alimony, child support, and all these other things.
Yeah.
And this type of thing, and like the elder here, he done went through the whole scenario and got them beat at their own game, and they can't even tap and say, okay, you got me. They're like, nah, well, we just gonna keep swinging you around in the fucking court
Going into slavery.
and whatnot. Okay, number 2, and they convert fields and take them by violence and houses, and they take them away so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. This backs up what Benji was saying. They took the heritage that we had and whatnot and put this bullshit on us and tell us that we got to be governed and ruled by this bullshit.
And it all goes back to all the shit that they're doing right now. All right, from the standpoint on the Bible, the standpoint on race, is all built upon behind what the world England calls white superiority. It's really Edomite superiority. And so what they did was they mixed the pseudoscience of race based upon color with the Bible, and all that was done, during and after and it all started with the iconoclasm, and then and all these philosophies of color and shit that the so-called white man. Self-proclaimed white man made up, all right, and then he put those things into play over the centuries, coming from the. They even racialized Ham, Shem, and Japheth Negroid, a Caucasoid, and a Mongoloid.
Mongoloid.
And that was a complete lie. Ham, Shem, and Japheth were all men of color. You know, a Negroid type, if you will. All right, they were all they you know, because they all were Noah's sons, and they all were so-called what the world would refer to today ignorantly as black men.
Now, the funny thing is, you add up all the people on the planet, the 8 billion. Esau is going. If you add American, which is less than 200, less than maybe 150 million.
Yes, it's around. It's about. In America, I think it's about 230 million people.
It's 300.
Or 300
million. But
Right.
even then, it's not all Edomites. If you go to America, you go to Europe and so forth, and get all the Edomites,
330.
they're gonna pale in comparison to all the rest of the races. So you telling me at the beginning of the time, when you talking about Shem, you talking about Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and they were all so-called whitish people. How the fuck did so-called dark people come then?
Exactly.
How the fuck is the majority of the people on the planet is melanated?
Melanated
Over
people.
75% of the people on the planet, matter of fact, 80% of the people
Europe
is
is
melanated.
very small. As a matter of fact, even the maps that they use is
That's right.
racist.
That's
because
right. That's right.
Europe is very small. Africa is a lot larger than what they show it. All right, so Africa is huge, man. It's way Africa should be, not that we're promoting Africanism, but the point is that or that Kemet shit. But Africa, the continent of Africa is ginormous, and they actually shrank it.
It's huge.
They shrank it. You know, South America, many other continents could fit right into Africa.
Yeah.
That's how big it is.
I can
All
read
right.
this
The
quote.
only place that's bigger is Asia. All right.
I can read the Ben Franklin quote.
Go ahead, brother.
The number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small.
Name the source, Bob Kashan, the year.
This is a quote from Benjamin Franklin in 1751. The writing word was
I'm about to put this
observations
map up.
concerning the increase of mankind, countries, etc. The number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, alright, so New England are 13 colonies. Outside of 13 colonies, what do you say? Wholly sold. So the Native Americans, tawny, swarthy, black, alright? And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion.
There you go.
As are the Germans also.
Mm.
The Saxons only accepted was just after they got into power. These are not the original Saxons.
Right.
Brother Caparia, aka Pops, read the Micah 2. They took over, they took a man his heritage, right? Only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased, and while we are, as I may call it, scoring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light.
Clearing it of woods, huh?
Wow.
Yep. A brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? So he wanted to keep shit separate. He called himself superior, even though they're the least of the nations. That's that damn pride being heightened to the heavens, man. You know, and that's what America was made to do. America was made to be the face of Edom. And that's just what it is. The beast the whore that rode the beast back, man.
Yeah.
So that's how they push the whiteness, air quotes, to the world, man. They really did. Yeah, the first 2 verses.
Exactly.
Obadiah,
For this stupid shit.
verse 1, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord of power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised.
Right, and that's prophecy right there, man. Small among the heathen and greatly despised. Look where we at now, man. The whole world hates you. You know, that's plain. Edom, the so-called white man, is the hated amongst the nations. All right, he's Malachi, the first chapter, the 4th verse explains how he was going to get into power. He was going to rebuild. That's the Renaissance age, and he built up. He wanted to push an image of whiteness on the world, man. That's that Satan made himself as an angel of light.
God.
He pushed his way into the world, his wine into the world, man.
God.
Took over, put his religious spirit on our book, just like in the Maccabees.
It's like in this image that's on the wall behind you. That's the way that image also should have always been. But they pushed that image on the world. Well, it's kind of hard to see it because of the glare of the light. But it's a dark angel, a negroid angel, killing. It's Michael, supposed to be Michael killing Satan. All right, and that that's a famous Catholic image among the Catholic Church. But when you see it, the angel is always a so-called white person, and the devil that he's destroying is always somebody that's dark. And on this image is actually proper. Okay, but the original image of that is all a part of that Renaissance lie.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of our beloved brothers, Kadashi, painted this. You gotta give Jacob's photo credit.
That's right.
Because niggas be hating. We ain't hating. Kadashi, beloved brother. And he an Issachar, right?
That's
So
right.
you know he in the spirit, because they Issachar's playing with this fucking madness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got that image hanging in their car, around their neck,
The air freshener.
over the bedroom where their baby sleep.
Hey, Elder Malcolm, you know how they go in Jules? You got the fucking air freshener. This guy got 50 candles.
Yeah, you got a whole Catholic aisle. All them images, all them Cesare
candles and shit.
and Lucretia Bourget images,
Con,
all them lies about the saints.
Saint Piss.
I got one more for you.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, when you look up the image, it's like Saint Maurice. Saint Maurice, an original saint, is an old statue, and that nigga is black. And his name Maurice means black. Goes to the word more.
Yeah.
All right, this is just like the statue of the Tetrarchs, man. All right,
Yeah, the four tetrarchs.
The four tetrarchs, right?
Yeah, in Italy.
And
Yeah.
they black.
They're black, so they omit. I just did a lesson about that. All the how they omit the darkness of Europe, of Europa.
Europa, the
From
original image of the bitch black.
they omit the darkness from that part, from the whole so-called Mesopotamia, the fervent crest. Europa, even going into Asia. That's why even the Muslims refer to themselves as dark Asiatic man, that kind of mess. Because the people in Asia,
Asiatic black.
The original man, my brother.
because I
They call
got
themselves Moabites.
a friend of mine who named his daughter My Asia, and I told him, that anyway.
Right.
I got a pretty simple.
Go ahead, brother, bring it
This
out.
Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that's the other Malcolm was going into. This painting on the wall is in the right form. Edom has put his image. But you got the Sistine Chapel. All right, you got when Esau got the power, all those statues got weird. You look at the Catholic statues, they got priests up there, and they got little boys under their skirts. That shit weird. Then you got one
Yeah,
statue
you
where
had
they bent over
Halloween
licking their own.
costumes with the guys wearing the priest outfit, and it's got a child under his skirt facing him.
Yeah, they got
Right.
statues of that shit.
And it's chiseled on the side of buildings. It's
Yeah.
like you could just walk down the street, look up. This is
And that's supposed to be holy, and that's supposed to be righteous and indicative
And it's
of the Most High.
it's an idol.
Because I took video arts, basically 3D animation, college and shit. In art class, we got like a color chart, and it shows the color chart that light colors come from dark. Dark don't come from light.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got that, man.
Well, dark was first.
Well, this brother been holding the scripture, but before
We
we
still
bring
didn't
him
get the
out,
Baruch either.
yeah, we gonna go back to that Baruch. I forgot. But I mentioned something about the map. Uriah went and found a map that's actually kind of proper, because Greenland is gigantic. It's bigger. They try to make all these places where Edomites came from huge, or were living huge, and this one now on this map is actual proper size. You can see how large the continent of Africa is.
Can swallow America.
Compared to America and South America. All right, it's huge. So it's a very, very large continent. But when you look on modern day maps, it's shrunk down, and then the places where Europe is ginormous, Greenland is ginormous.
Now,
all these places where Esau was dwelling is huge.
Now, if you ever travel, you would know there's a difference. Because when I remember I was in London, which will be
And
somewhere.
look how many countries are in Africa,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes,
You
over
know,
50,
like
57.
That's a lot of different countries. So you just can't say you're African. You got to say what country you're from.
And no,
You
so
know?
far, no person in the continent of so-called Africa calls themselves African. They say they're Sudanese, they'll say they're Ethiopian, they'll say they're Ghanaian. They never say Africa because that African goes back to Scipio Africanus, which was a white so-called Roman military man, and conquered that region for the name of Rome. If you look,
even more so, brother, if I may,
please.
using that term African is a very generic term, and what it does is it just groups a bunch of dark people together that don't really belong together, which is to push the confusion of which is white superiority, because they don't want to acknowledge that race is actually through seed line, through sperm, and not through the color of your skin.
Here it goes. Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus was a Roman general and statesman, most notable as one of the
Conquered
main.
Africa, and it's named after him.
That's
so
it.
when you refer to yourself as African, you're calling yourself after the name of a so-called white man.
Because he fought against Carthage in the Second Punic War, and they say, since you did that, and isn't Carthage where Hannibal
That's where
is
Hannibal
from?
came from.
Yeah, and Hannibal Barca. And so they say, that's one of the guys we got that we beat. He who didn't beat him, fucking Hannibal, took some soldiers to the fucking Himalayan mountains and got fucking killed by the Lord. Because the Lord it wasn't time for us to rise up.
for us to rise up yet.
You know what I'm saying?
We got your scripture, brother. You can hold it.
There's a go into everything y'all saying because these people are number liars. This Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey upon them not. All of these is nothing but lies that they promote, like y'all was just showing on the map. They try to make it seem like they was the ruling class, the dominant and all that. But they're not. They really ain't nothing. The Lord really set y'all up, and y'all don't get no credit to the Heavenly Father. You know, because the Lord said He was gonna set up the bases of men or was. You didn't set yourself up. You know, hey man, you got set up by the Lord, man. Like I was watching the live stream, the video of the live downtown, and you were saying that, hey man, you was kind of astonished, like how's these devils winning?
When I was a kid, I always thought that when I was a kid.
And we winning all the basketball, doing all this, doing all these great
football,
things.
boxing, wrestling, whatever it was, Jake was dominating.
Yeah, so that's how you know it was the Lord that took us down because we was going off. That's what it is.
Yeah, when you went outside to play football, when nobody's screaming out, white guy names.
Oh hell!
Everybody wanted to be Peyton or Dorsett,
That's
it. Tony.
It says.
Right, and the same thing when it came.
Will he go?
Same thing when it came to basketball, man.
That's right.
I got one to back up real quick, Matthias. This Deuteronomy 32 and 30. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 afloat, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. So let you know, it said, how can a one chase 1,000 unless the Lord sold us, man? It said, hey, they rock ain't like our God. He made even our enemies to be over us, man. The Lord gave us over to their hands, man.
Right. All right. And they God is basically their sword. It's Salakia. Modern day sword is a gun, and a sword always runs out of bullets. So they got right. You gonna run out of bullets, man. All right.
Yeah, no, you want me to play? I'll play it whenever you're ready.
Well, she was going to the map thing. It's an old clip, but
Oprah Winfrey. Jane Elliott.
And she cut. I mean, she got to be Jake because she cuts white man down all the time. True.
I claimed her anyway.
Yeah, but she don't give Esau no break.
And she
stay on their ass.
Yeah. That's my little bitty bitch.
She do a lot of her sessions being about racism. What I sing about her.
Yeah, she's got a passion to constantly bring out critical race history. Notice I didn't say theory, but she's constantly bringing out critical race history and its effect on today, which is something that so-called white people like to ignore. They don't want to acknowledge it.
She shames them all the time.
Then that means they have to acknowledge that they received stolen goods and stolen land and property and etc. Yeah, all that. See, they don't want to acknowledge any of that. So go ahead, you can play that clip, brother.
Oh shit! Hold on, let me stop. I forgot to turn the volume on. Hold on.
What's the disclaimer?
All right.
First seen a map
Hold on, let me
that
read
looked
it.
like this before.
Yeah, let me go. I kept it for that purpose. Let me read it before you play it. Here we go, yeah. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose of such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use. Tips balance in the favor of fair use.
And I got 6 of them over there. You can see that this is all what this is for. So fuck you. All right, we go back to the shit.
Seen a map that looked like this before. How many of you have ever seen this map?
Seen that map?
Isn't this the map that you use K through 16
Wow,
in the
look at
United
small
States of America?
Africans.
Now, folks, look at this map. According to your social
How
studies
large
teacher,
Greenland
what is the
is.
equator? An imaginary line where?
Yeah.
Around the center of the earth. Then if this map is correct, then the equator must be here, and Chicago has a tropical climate. Now, folks, this is the map that we use in the schools. Look where the United States is, in the middle of the world, right? Now, here's the USSR, which is no more, of course. Mongolia, China, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Now, look over here. USSR, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Two Indias here. We have 2 Indias. Did you know that? Now, people, this is a flat-out lie. Look at the size of Greenland and the size of South America. According to your social studies teachers, what were continents? Largest land masses on the face of the earth, right? Now, do you know the continents? Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Did I say Greenland? Well, Greenland isn't a continent, but it's a huge landmass according to this map, right? The map is a flat-out lie, people. If you read the legend on the map, here it says, in fact, South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. Now, look at this map. The equator on this map is down here. All the white countries are larger than they should be, and all the countries of people of color are smaller than they should be. This is a visual image that teaches children a lie. In order to make this map anywhere near accurate, you have to take this over here and put it here like this. Now, can somebody hold that? Can you hold that down there, somebody? Are you a somebody?
Sally is a somebody.
Okay,
yeah.
Sally's a somebody. There. Now, take a look at the difference. Does that give you a different visual image of the importance of the United States? People, the way you use things like this, teaching aids like this, are what make you and I racist. We were taught that this is the way the world looks. It's a flat-out lie. How could a parent not be a racist? How could a white parent not be a racist in a city?
All orders and needed copies.
This nigga had to plug this.
Yeah, of course he would. I mean, but you know,
Ain't had shit to do with nothing.
see, but she's right, because when you disproportion the lands, this shows you first of all that what Esau is doing is psychological and is intentful to promote their ideology.
It's hateful.
It's
It's
hateful.
hateful and racist by their own definition.
Absolutely. You see how small Europe is? If you go over to Europe, I've been to Scotland, I've been to London, I've been to Belgium and Amsterdam, Holland. You can go, they have underground rail lines that only takes a couple hours to get from London to Holland. If that was so big as they say, it would take you a day or so. All right? If you look at this map, then it makes sense how quickly they can build those underground rail lines. When they say underground, it's really literally under sea. That goes from this is Scotland, Europe, and Ireland right over here. All right, they won't go all the way over here. From that's right here, they'll go all the way over here in a matter of hours, bro.
Yeah, that's how the Europeans be dating and stuff. They
Yeah.
have a girlfriend in a whole other country.
Come
they
on.
just jump on the train and go spend the weekend with her.
And then and it's cool. And I mean, it's so fast. I've traveled to multiple places over there like it was nothing.
As a matter, and then not only that, they had those super trains. You know,
Yeah,
those
that's what I'm talking about.
Those bullet trains, which they don't have here in America. And you know why they don't have them? They don't have them because because all the oil mongers basically prevented America from having those bullet trains because they wanted everyone to drive. Right? They wanted to sell all their cars and promote all that.
believe that.
Because if you had trains that went 200 miles per hour, man, you know how fast you can get from Chicago to New York,
Absolutely.
from Chicago to LA, and then going 200 miles per hour.
See, America's a cash cow. America's a cash cow of these European nations because you got to remember the mother of America was Britain. All right, they're like, no, we're gonna go ahead and fleece them. Everybody, in fact, you got China owns land in America. You got all these different foreign countries that own land in America.
Yeah, most of the parks, most of your public parks are now owned by
the Chinese,
China and other people. And most people don't know that.
That's it.
All right, because America was giving up, you know. Hey, the rules in America sold the people out a long time ago, and you got still dumbass Americans ain't rioting, and you know, because that shit it happened at the White House, you know, on January 6th. That was some bullshit. All right, that was completely staged. But you know, if you think that America, with all the shit that the government has done and is still doing to the people in America, they dumbed them down and dociled them down with all these chemicals.
No
Because the
doubt.
people, and especially with Americans being as heavily armed as they are, they could have already took over, you know, but that's not prophecy for that to happen. But they could have already, you know, have a whole new government by now and actually be following their constitution. But, you know, Americans are really, they're collectively, they're very stupid. As a matter of fact, I find that the more degrees in education they have, the dumber that they are.
That's
All right, because they may be book smart, but it's common sense ain't common. Clearly,
Absolutely. This is
and then even their book smart is bullshit because most of the knowledge that they learn is all based upon lies.
This is England to Netherlands by subway and train. The journey time between England and Netherlands is around 5 hours and 14 minutes and covers a distance of about 583 kilometers. That proves, if you actually want to prove
That's like
this,
driving from here to Detroit.
That's right.
so how can the landmass be bigger than something that's the size of Africa? You have to go to the end of it. See, Esau is so stupid, he'll tell you the truth, but then he'll put in the lie. If you follow the truth, if you was go back to that map.
And then is there train, rail trains all over Greenland? Because Greenland was just as big as America.
Supposedly.
On that map.
right.
You know? But on that, well, you go back to that map, look how small Greenland is.
Yes. And
Right?
other ones she had
It's
huge.
it was gigantic.
Yeah, ginormous. Right? So if this from here to all the way over here is only 583 kilometers, then you go into these different places in Africa. You go, if you was to Google the size of the Congo and by meters, and then Sudan by meters, and Ghana by meters. If you do that, you'll get the accurate, because they'll tell you it.
Yeah.
But nobody's sitting there doing the actually going to scale and trying to do what they did unless you did what they did. The majority of people gonna say whatever the man in school said, the woman in school said, and they're gonna believe it hook, line, and sinker, because they'll tell us to vet everything that we say, but they don't vet what they say,
No.
and we
Matter
will
of
believe
fact,
it.
they'll say that this is a conspiracy,
That's
which
it.
they just declared war. The UN just declared war on conspiracies
That's true.
worldwide.
That's right.
All right, so basically, what that really means is that stop telling the truth on us.
That's right.
Stop exposing
Stop
us.
tricking
That
us.
boy got to pay what, 49 million or 40 something
Mhm.
million?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alex Jones.
Because the whole Sandy Hook shit.
You got something?
Like a
Yeah, I
problem.
was speaking on Esau. Speaking lies. Psalms 58:3 says, "The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies."
That's it.
I mean,
That's it.
immediately. Do we have to pull up the thing with the little curl? And she said, Sally, who ate the chocolate? There's a black man.
The
That's
black
man did it.
man did it.
And that's who, right? And that's who the Most High right now. The Most High got them in rulership right now. That's why the scriptures tells the prophets, the men of the Lord, to rid my people from the hand of the wicked.
That's right.
Because our people in their minds are in the grasp of the wicked. And they're lying. They're telling you that life is done away with. When they say that the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God and what the Most High God called righteous, when they say that that's done away with, all right, basically they're saying life is done away with and you roll right with it.
That's
Okay.
right. 24 and 4. And Yahweh Shah answered and said unto them, tell ye that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And that's what you're saying. That's what they did, man. They painted that image up and deceived many. Acting and deceiving people, man. That's
Right.
why we not supposed to let these people deceive us. But our people got caught up into this lifestyle, which is a wicked style. It's really not a lifestyle, it's a death style. And now these people are really corrupted out here, man. And they really believe that this man is the Most High. They think the image and all of
Well,
it.
because again, the Most High put them in power, and what they don't see is the Most High, but they do see Esau in power.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
so now that he
No
in,
fake.
huh?
That's no fake.
Well, see,
You gotta see it. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You can't see fake. I'm just laying back.
Yep. And then as the scripture says, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, when they see you in power.
Too late.
Exactly. So here it is, who they see, like the saying goes, thinking gain is next to godliness. You know what I'm saying? When they don't understand, that's why I say it's a brutish man. One that's carnal, one that's like just like you go off your animal instinct, you brutish. So the scripture says a brutish man don't understand, neither does the fool understand that when the wicked spring as the grass and all of the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. Because right now, wickedness gets its time to flourish. And then they telling you that true righteousness is crazy. It's hate.
Can I give you an example?
Yes.
Let me give you an example of something that recently just happened. Two things. One was the Republican Party. I think it was a bill. I think it was a Bill 31, something Agenda 31, or whatever it was called, where all of the Republican. Basically, what happened was that this bill was to eliminate racism throughout all police departments. But they were going to have two organizations that do a joint investigation, and all officers that were found that had to deal with anything sort of racial profiling or racial incidents, anything that was overturned was going to be removed from all police departments. And the entire Republican Party voted it out. They missed it. So that goes to show you they want their racist white police officers. They don't want to get rid of them. Second was this. Charlottesville's first black woman police chief fired. His officers refused to comply. So the officers, basically, long story short, they put this black woman, so-called black woman, but that's what she gets for believing and trusting in our enemy.
Right.
Put her in charge, and then everything became so bad with her in charge that they just fired her and got rid of her. So it all failed.
Right.
All right. Her pipe dreams of being a police chief. Because why? Because all the racist white males refuse to comply.
Reject.
So Esau is showing you, all right, hey, look, because a nigger woman can't be nothing to a white man but a bed wench. Including
right.
if he married you, you're still his bed wench. You're nothing more to him.
It's
All right.
It's funny you say that because there was a little bit here a year or two ago when they were talking about they were going to try to put so-called Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, and that shit never materialized.
Yeah, you're right, boss. Yeah.
They was like, nah, man, we can't even have this bitch on our money.
No, you go back to trading places. Are you really gonna let that nigger run that company?
Yep.
No.
Matter of fact, can I read this real quick? It says, after the midsummer in June 2021, newly hired police chief Rachel Brackley felt the need to double down on her personal safety. Unholstering her gun, she left her headquarters. Brackley's fear, however, was not prompted by activity on the streets or even the ongoing public threats made against the police. Somebody can never trust in our enemy.
That's right.
And that whole go down to Egypt. And against the police departments over the years, instead, she found herself afraid of her own subordinates. Cops who wanted her gone after making some controversial yet necessary shakeups throughout the force. It was necessary for them to, all right. The same year, an internal probe was being conducted of a 15-member SWAT team, according to the report obtained by Washington Post. There were more than just a few issues that required addressing. There was evidence of several officers making racist remarks. One text in particular read that they should take out the command staff. Damn. And Brackley found this concerning. Most others of the staff blew the comment off. They reportedly additionally found an officer training a new hire on how to hide misconduct. So they were doing all this shit behind her back, and this woman was nervous of her own subordinates. And every time she unholstered and took, that's crazy, man.
Brother, the brother seek understanding. Said, elders, I'm confused. Can a chief of police fire a police officer? If so, she didn't do her job, brother. When you talking about Esau and his system, ain't shit right in his system. How things supposed to be ain't how it's supposed to be.
Man, that's right, man. Because you could do everything right and beat them in court, and they'll still just, if you beat them and expose them, then they'll just be like, oh well, you got us with the devil.
And then if you
We're
talking
still
about,
not gonna let you win.
and if you talk about her, and then you got say if she's the police officer of the chief over 500 police officers, and 400 of them are Edomites, and they all got guns and they all got bangers, man. She was like, man, these motherfuckers gonna come to my house, come. See, you don't know what.
Her.
Yeah, subtle remarks, sometimes on the nose remarks, doing certain things, and then she's a woman, bro. She's a woman. She shouldn't even be in that position.
And it's like in the military, you was into it with somebody. I think we was talking
Speak
about.
up,
Remember I heard stories about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Somebody
Call it fragging, brother.
Yeah, they would frag you. They would pop. They would kill you in the field and blame it on enemy fire.
Yeah, because you go out on maneuvers, and basically people that they want to get rid of they don't come back. They get fragged.
Yeah.
So if you were a problem, if you weren't going along with the program, you got fragged by your own people.
That's what
And
she was
but
scared.
even in sports, you know, if the coach don't win over the team and respected by the team, then they'll fire that coach.
That's it.
You know,
Because see, the chief of police is not really the chief of the police. Guess who's really the chief of the police? The mayor. Absolutely. Because the mayor is one's department. Who's the chief of the armed forces? The so-called president. So if the people come to the mayor and say, look, man, if you want all 400 of us to come back out in the streets, you need to get rid of this bitch right here, or we gonna get rid of this bitch.
Right.
And then the mayor will be like, you know what, Chief Officer
we're not gonna vote for you, but we'll move up the band. You know,
you're fired.
When you call because you know there's some people on your street, you know your protection they're gonna be held up at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Exactly. And now if you go here in Chicago, I used to go down, Indiana by 12th Avenue, 12th Street. There's a whole bunch of residential spots over there, right? I would do Lyft and Uber, and every single day I would see poles in front of this one spot. It was like, why are they always here? Comes out as a judge over there that lived over there, and they had protection. Like you said, you go ahead and piss off the wrong people, that protection ain't there, and then guess what? Anybody can go in there and do what the fuck they want.
Right.
So they know how to get around. Esau knows how to get around that shit.
That judge has done some unseemly wrongdoings and wrong judgment.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. And for him to hire protection,
right?
Why you need
for
protection?
the city to
exactly.
If you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like that.
That's it. That's it.
Come, look at it.
Like Rustin, so is himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be looking, and thou know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
That's it. Right. And you never trust. So when the time we came off them slave ships to now, did they treat us right? Nope. Comfortable. Got a freedom, so-called freedom, which is not freedom, to go over here and there and do their debauchery. They're free to do freedom to do wickedness. All right.
Right. You know, not even going back further than that. Cristobal Colon, when they came off those ships, man, they unsheathed their swords, man. All right.
That's it.
So and it really had to stop. Esau used his blessing. You know,
it still lives.
What are mothers telling they sons and whatnot out here? You got to get along. You need to get along, get a good job, get an education, get along and whatnot.
Hey bro, I also lived off of some shit. An older woman, she had to be at least in her 40s or 50s, and they was interviewing her in L.A. And they was asking what they doing about the violence in the neighborhood, and she said, well, I don't know about everybody else, but over here we crip bam bam boom bam, and if they don't know what to do, hey, this older house is 45, 41.
No,
Okay,
say it right. It was a fucking black woman.
It was. It was.
And I ain't have to see it to know that.
And,
Black
but she
women-
started doing all this little hand signs and shit. It's like, well, over here, we own this what the member. And that's the last thing that anybody would expect that a 40, 50-year-old
No, that-
so-called black woman
That's why they
to be
asked
promoted.
That's the first thing I expect.
Well, we would, but they wouldn't.
Dry pussy, bitch.
They absolutely.
Come
That's
on.
right.
Isaiah 31, the other call for is Isaiah 31:1. It says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and trust chariots because they are many, and in the horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto want to go after the people that literally destroyed us, man, and show you how ass backwards our people are, man. They're destroyed."
Yeah,
Because they're authority and power right now.
and our people's minds have been molded basically to be subjects and be cool with it. Like, what's that saying? You will own nothing and be happy. You
Yeah,
know?
and they're maneuvering their way to that.
Big Klaus
Right.
Schwab said
You
that
know,
shit.
All
They-
these other nations, they have a ruling class mentality, and they have the mindset to rule. Here, our people, they don't have the mindset to rule.
They don't want to.
When you try to bring that to them, they no, they don't. Yeah.
We living good.
They actually
boss.
have a problem with it. But now I won't say every last one of them, because you got Jakes out there that know he saw their enemy and ready to riot on them.
Right.
But the mass majority, man, especially these Christians, you know, you right, you've been bent over every way which and violated it all, you know, with no fling, no spit, nothing.
Hey,
No,
this-
no whispering sweet nothing.
Hey,
And then they want to just, you know, let it go like it didn't happen. Like the condition that you're in isn't a condition that these people put you in.
Hey, to land back with what the brother read, this is Ezekiel 16:26. Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians, thy neighbors, great of flesh, and hast increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger. And so they great of flesh. Are you talking about everything that in Mosai called America modern day Egypt? So when it says great of flesh, everything in every system, every avenue, everything that America promotes is everything that's great of flesh and is not the Most High. This is a place barren with faith compared to, except for the righteous men who are fighting this battle. That's 99% of wickedness.
Hey, this brother got one real quick.
No, I just want to land back off what his white brother was saying. Isaiah 30:12, it says, "Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon." Like the brother was saying, you know, our people love oppression. Even before I learned this truth, as a youth, just all type of bullshit. I'm sure it was bullshit when you were a kid. You know, when you grew up trying to get a job and shit, it's like it's sucker shit, you know? Because you see the job is bullshit, you work so hard for a little money. It's like, how you get this, how you know what I'm saying? How you getting this?
You knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother, I was a child. My grandmother had this talking to me. My grandma used to stay next door. You know. They didn't, yep. She said, look, you got 2 strikes on you as a black man. For one, that's the 2 strikes. You're black and you're a black man.
Yep.
And she explained this shit. That's fucked up. That you gotta
So
tell
the
your
child has to sit there and listen to that.
Yeah.
Like, damn, man, the game. You mean I got right? This the game. You only get 3 strikes, and I already got 2. And I
just walked. I didn't even do nothing.
Right.
My mom told me the same thing. She told me in a different way. She said, Jay, and if you go to a school or go to a job or whatever, you cannot be as good as a so-called white man. You have to be better. You can't have A's. You have to have A pluses. And then you have, right. She said you don't have to always go above and beyond just to survive. If you got an A and they got an A, they're gonna always choose you. You're gonna have to have the A plus. You're gonna have to go over and beyond the Call of Duty. And that's for us.
That's crazy you said that, because Pops used to say that to me as a kid. He said, in society, you gotta work 5 times harder than anybody out here. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it until I got older. I'm like, God dang, like anything I do when it comes to these, you know, these white people, it's like, what the fuck, bro?
That
Like,
shit kills
you
Yeah,
born,
pennies.
yeah, it's like a video game.
Compared to what they
And no matter what, though, you're going to talk to almost every single industry, you're still going to get pennies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I was listening to the actors Kevin Hart to Surfer, actors. One dude on Power,
Oh,
whatever.
that's what I mentioned him.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, he said, 50 gave you about the bam kind of money for this. He said, man, I didn't start really making no money until the XYZ season or down the line. Kevin was saying the same thing. Kevin Hart was saying the same thing. He would say certain movies while we up there like, oh, Kevin Hart, oh my God. He said, but he was dead broke. He said he didn't make his money till down the line because Steve Harvey said it. He was like, man, when you first come into the Watabam, you go there, tell you go get you a lawyer. Your lawyer off rip getting 5-10% of what you get. He goes, which is an Edomite lawyer who goes and get the person who's gonna get you the deal. They gonna get a 20-something%, and then after that they go set you up with the other part of the company. They took another 30%. He said, back next thing you know, out of 100% of your earnings, you only getting 25% of your shit. That Esau sets it up for us to fail. You will not. The Most High is so cold. He tell you, hero, you cannot trust this motherfucker because he's going to bring you down.
You know what? I'm going to read that scripture that Kazak put up there. This is Jeremiah 17 and
verse 5.
And no, 17 is 7. It
Says
says
7. Okay. So he went. Okay, come.
Yeah, it says, "Blessed is a man that trusteth in Yahweh, and whose hope Yahweh is." So you can't really. You know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. The water for finishing that. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't get it out. But yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, man, because it just be look your daily bread. You know, when the scripture says, "Give me not too much, give me not too little." You know, no poverty, no riches, right? Because you know, you get too much, you get too comfortable, you gonna start laxing from the work.
That's it.
Right, but then you know, extreme poverty makes it difficult to do the work as well. You're too busy trying to survive.
I was gonna say it all goes back to curses. Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations you shall find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart and feeling of eyes and sorrow of mind. So we got all that. Hey man, you putting your money in a bag with holes. You tell yourself, I'm gonna save this much money and Lord's will, this much shit come up, man. You know what I'm saying, man? These motherfuckers get to acting up on the job, man. You got the nigga woman. I got nothing but black women superiors, man. They're not working the project. So it's all fucked up, man.
Yeah, right. And then you got this lying deceiver that's ruling over you.
Exactly.
That never seems to get in trouble.
It's all
right. You know.
I said so. Brother said all this. You gotta be out of your fucking mind. We want this place to continue.
That's
right. We want the Lord to come back destroy this fucking place.
And my grandma told me when I was a kid, man, that the white man is the devil, especially the long hair, blue eyes. So shit, I was a little boy. She told me that, man. She died when I was 8. So I always knew they was the devil, man. They the fucking devil, man.
Your grandma told you a righteous thing.
Right. God 1:6 says, "You have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but ye have not enough. You drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none worn. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." So you do feel like you fucking broke every time you get your paycheck. You're like, God damn, I gotta pay this bill. I gotta give my kids some shit. This shit expensive. I gotta buy clothes and shoes. What I got left for myself?
But then Esau make fun of you lazy, you this, you that. The whole fucking system is set up for us to fail. That's what we try to tell you. A lot of Edomites are starting to understand that too. They'll come and talk to you, try to humble down. I understand. Like yesterday, maybe the dude. I understand the plight. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Esau made fun of that shit in the 80s, man. A song by Bruce Hornsby. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Things will never be the same.
Johnny Guitar Watson, ain't that a bitch? Somebody doing something slick. That song, Johnny Guitar Watson. That song was bad. Hey, it's like, ain't that a bitch? Somebody doing something slick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a good song. He talking about oppression, really.
Yeah, that was a song that came out. I actually kind of like it, man.
Yeah, I do too.
It's kind of there's this song that came out. It's kind of it's like I think it's an early 2000 song. It's kind of bluesy. And then you might know what it's like, and it's just and then it's just showing you all this fucked up shit.
Yeah, Everlast.
That's a badass song, man.
What
that's
it's like,
But you know, it's just basically showing you the deterioration of America, man.
This is an American video too. That was a bad one.
You know?
Yeah, like
Huh?
But like you said, the bag with holes, the money bag with holes in it. whatnot. Richard Pryor was a writer before he was anything else. And him and Paul Mooney and whatnot, they got the story, and it's out there where they went to negotiate contracts and this, that, and the other. And Paul Mooney told them, "Oh, that's about the money." No, they write for some of the top-rated shows at that time. Sanford and Son and this, that, and other. These were top-rated shows.
Let's see, you hear a lot of rappers that come out and say how much money they lost because they was getting used.
Oh, yeah.
Like TLC and all them, they was taking
Yeah,
all their money.
hey, look, man, TLC sold more records than Diana Ross and the Supremes. They are literally the most popular female group, even more popular than Destiny's Child and In Vogue. They're the most popular female group in all. I don't know why, because they really aren't that talented. In Vogue and Destiny's Child was way more talented than they could ever. What was them girls called? Sisters with Voices, SWV. But nevertheless, they were the most popular female band, and they were completely and totally broke. Because why? Because the system is broke. Because why? You believe in a man that's a habitual liar, deceiver, man. You could play that video, brother.
Hey, Shemai.
The Holy Scripture, brother.
I was just double checking it. Oh, you know what? I turned it down.
Lie about it. And just for fun, comment below what your favourite colour is. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Listed for more Wicked List style videos. So let's begin. The top 7 kids caught lying to their parents. The first video, the top 7 kids that lie to their parents, we have a little boy of around 4 years old. His face is covered in a thick, bright blue layer of icing. But this little boy remains adamant that he has not eaten the cupcake. Comment below what you guys think.
Hey Jack, did you eat a cupcake?
No.
You didn't eat a cupcake?
No, I'm not home.
You sure you didn't eat a cupcake?
No.
I thought you maybe had a cupcake.
No.
No?
No.
Definitely not?
No.
Not like in the last couple minutes?
No.
No cupcake for Jack?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have this next kid training to be a lawyer, as yet again he has the evidence all around his mouth, but he's still telling his mum that he did not eat the chocolate brownie. Checks the pair this time, and I love the way the little girl hides under the table. You can see on her face that she's nearly going to confess to eating the food, but she stays strong and never tells.
And did you go in the room with it, or you just ate it right there? He just ate it right there. But you didn't eat one? You sure? Okay.
This clip is from a little girl trying on her mum's lipstick. She literally has about a 2-inch thick band around her mouth. We'll give her credit, she tries to convince the mum that it's not lipstick. Somehow, I don't think the mum is falling for it. Watch this one.
What happened, Mommy's makeup?
What do you have all over your face?
Chapstick.
Oh, that's not chopstick.
Not chapstick.
Mm-mm. That's Mommy's lipstick.
Oh, lipstick? I like lipstick.
Where did you get it?
For Mommy's makeup.
And did Mommy tell you not to play in the makeup?
Mm-hmm.
So why did you go play in the makeup again?
I didn't want to go again. I don't touch Mommy's makeup.
Oh, but I think you did touch my makeup because it's all over your mouth.
The next kid is sure that he did not eat anything at all, but once again he has a full face of chocolate. Either he's trying to lie, or he has the shortest memory of anyone in the world, and his parents should get him checked out. Watch this one.
What did you eat?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
No.
Are you sure?
Nothing at all.
Oh, okay. It looks like you ain't done it to me.
I did.
I think so.
No, don't play in my party.
Next up, we have a little girl. Not only is she lying about eating chocolate, but she's also trying to get her little brother told.
Go ahead, bring it out, brother.
This is on Psalms 58.
It came out before. We're gonna read it
The
again.
wicked are estranged from the womb. They are go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
One more time, brother.
The Psalms 58 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
So their rulerships from the time that the Renaissance, when they began to whitewash history, when they began to destroy icons, all right? When the devil, you know, when that serpent, that old dragon, got dominion again, and he got loose for that little season. He did so much. Look at the condition of the earth since he got loose. All right, since he came from belly, right, from the cave. Somebody get Job 30th chapter. Since he came from that state when on his belly he should go. All right, when he came from being on his belly when he was a damn caveman, when he was Quest for Fire, which I never even made the connection. That was young Ron Perlman. That was one of the main characters in Quest for Fire.
He was a wildling.
He was one of the wildlings. But see, they want to make that history, you know, 10,000, 100,000 years ago. No, that was during the Dark Ages, when white people were so-called white people were living like that. You all right? I would not set them to be with my dogs. You know the whole.
Job 30.
Start at the top, brother.
Start at the top. This is Job. This is the book of Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flocks. And for the record, that word younger doesn't mean younger as you think. It's actually insignificant, smaller. If you go into the etymology, that's why it's really important to go into the etymology behind some of these words. Verse 2, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. And see, that was the Dark Ages. That was after the fall of Rome, when Septimius Severus was ruling, and they'll call Septimius. They admit that he was black, but they'll call him an African. All right? No, Septimius Severus was an Israelite, and those were so it was no African rulers of Rome or Roman emperors. They were Israelites. It went from the pagan Roman Empire to the Holy Roman Empire, and that's when Constantine came along with his wicked ass and all that stuff. A couple hundred years after that. All right, but that during the rule of Septimius Severus, because he defeated Persinius Niger, or who some people would say Niger. But he defeated him because they were both battling to be the rulers. All right, go ahead, brother. Job 30:5. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. So that's when the so-called white man got driven into what the world calls the Caucasus Mountains. It's listed right here in the Bible. That's right. It's prophesied. That's right. Go ahead.
That's why I say he got go up in the clutch of the rocks.
That's right.
They refer to today as the Caucasians.
Man, on that, I think it's in Job 30. I think it's in that same chapter.
Verse 6.
No, it's later on when he said, "I am a brother to dragons." That lets you know that goes back to that great serpent of old.
That's
the devil Satan, that dragon.
30:29.
That's
it. 30:29.
So that's in the same. That lets you know we're talking about that white man, the self-proclaimed white man.
And he loves this shit, bro.
Into them caves, man, because he said, "I'm a brother to dragons."
Yeah, he's
that
that
talking
dragon.
about the devil.
The old serpent, as it says in Revelation 12, also called the devil.
That's right. If I may, this right here on the screen, this is ancient Petra right here. They love going crawling shit in the rocks and living in the fucking rocks. And then they were driven out and brought over to the Caucasus Mountains. They were in the Caucasus Mountains. And then when they came into power, now they build their own artificial mountain rocks with these skyscrapers that are built with cement and iron and all the shit that's in the fucking rock, so they can live high and have a high habitation over the people, man.
And even a lot of them, they walk on. They have concrete countertops. I was watching a video. I'm into you're on the different channels where they show you the rich people's houses. A lot of them get concrete in their houses on floors because they have the floors heated. And it feels, they like it because it feels natural to their feet.
In the high rise.
Because they fucking cavemen.
What
the fuck, you got money instead of what you want to walk.
Yeah, a lot of the floors are heated. They got heated floors.
Yeah, they got heated concrete floors.
Which they got from Jake, by the way.
When I was a kid, my best friend lived in a high rise. And we used to come in from playing in the snow and go and stand on the hot spots. Our feet would be frozen.
Hey, if you want to know, the heated floors come from Jake. Back in the Middle Ages, in them castles, they actually found castles, and the castles actually had water piped through under the wooden floors, and they had hot water piped through there to have wooden floors, that heated wooden floors. That was Jake who invented it. Jake invented that.
Right in the castle.
Yeah, Jake, and you don't see like the elder brother, was the couple brothers, was the Kowal and Shati did that one video about them over there in Europe.
That video was hot.
Oh, it's flaming, brother. Not one of the castles that were built in the European time reflects anything
It don't
to go
look
back to
anything like
Petra,
this.
to America, to Europe, and all the columns and the triangles and all the other shit, and this generic ass shit. Ours, it was amazing.
Unhewn stones. And
That's
see,
it.
what you have to understand, when the people is no longer ruling, they were a building that's no longer built. So the thing is, you have to ask yourself, why aren't why wasn't America and all the places where the Edomites dwell built the same way as all those castles in Ireland, Scotland, and in those different places over there? But you see what you see on the screen.
Castle of the Moors.
Yeah, what you see on the screen, what you saw on the screen, that's what you see here in America. All right.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Job 35. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
Now I have images. Now these right here, this was the way that Jake built.
Is it?
Unhewn stones. Nothing was perfectly cut symmetrically. All right, and they built that way. As a matter of fact, there's a whole book. I have some of the images. Let me pull up the name.
If I can bring the scripture too to back that up. Yeah.
It's called Galactic Gorilla Land Congo, and in these images, they look just like what I'm looking at when you're looking at them in my phone.
Oh,
And those, those are they building boats. These were castles that were actually in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
So they're built the same way that they're built in West Africa. All those markings right there, those are the all different castles that Jake was living in.
I think Fort Judah was.
You all right? So, and they're built just like these. Okay, right here, brothers. If you want to see it, look.
Fort Judah was a castle too, wasn't it?
These castles are in Africa that were built by black people, but they never show you these. You see, and all those little markings are showing you where they are.
The
This is all
so-called
throughout
Esau
Congo
sees
and
the
Angola.
richest so-called man
All
that
right.
ever lived.
And then they even, this book is hot. I want to get my hands on it, because when you're looking at it, that Jake was just royal, and there's even an image here. Let me, where you got all these white people that are bowing down. Look at Jake sitting up on that tall ass throne. Okay, you got all these posts, these white people. See?
Yep.
But so they don't show you this history, man.
Can I back you up?
Go ahead, bro.
This is Deuteronomy 27:5. And there shalt thou build an altar unto the Lord of thy power, an altar of stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them. It was in our nature. We will build and we'll just take one stone, we'll put the mortar, and we'll make another. We'll make it fit without trying to.
And then we shape it and make it all perfect. But it wasn't all hewn and cut perfectly the way Esau.
And a jillion castles over in Scotland, which I've seen with my own eyes.
And the way they still stand.
Yes.
And they can still withstand
Intact.
the weight, and the people is the evidence to how structurally sound that they are.
Yes.
Compared
And
to
the mental understanding on how to engineer this shit. How did you engineer? There's some shit that's made on top of a rock, on sides of rock, where it's like, how did you engineer this big castle and so forth?
Where the mortar holds up and everything else.
And
They still can't figure out the pyramids on how they got those granite bits and all the stuff up and the heights that they have. They can. Well, they're not going to divulge it because they don't. But they still can't reproduce it. They can't even produce this motherfucking gravel ass roads and these concrete ass motherfucking highways that fucking break down every 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and spending thousands of stuff. I'm being nice. I'm being nice.
What's crazy is it's just
Salaki.
like with the FDA. I was in a car with a when I used to do Lyft. She said, "Oh, we got cures for a lot of things, but the FDA just want to prove it." All right, it's just like with the roads and stuff. A lot of companies, you go on YouTube, you'll see a lot of things that companies is creating, like breathable concrete. They got stuff that where the concrete is actually soft. but Esau won't let that shit come out.
I mean, cobblestone is still over there in Europe just fine.
Yes, but matter of fact, cobblestone is on every motherfucking road over here in Chicago.
Yeah, they covered over with
Yes.
concrete.
Yeah. And certain roads you still got.
roads, because when they start over there, over there, yeah, over there where I am, where all them little factories are on Taurus and all this stuff. When we go into the east side, when them roads crack, you can see the cobblestone beneath them.
That's it. And that's how stupid. Yeah,
It's still fine.
That lasted way longer than Esau's bullshit. I threw some more castles up there just for the record, man.
All right, I got a precept to go with that. Job, this is Revelation 20, and verse, I'm going to start at 1. I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, which is the dark ages.
And this is that time.
That's right. It goes into it in that Job. He was chased away, and where did he go? Caucasus Mountains. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up with Europe, and set his seal upon him, and he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loosed a little season. And that was his mission. He came out to what? To deceive the nations. Job 9:24. Second Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Whose working is coming after Satan with all signs and lying wonders.
That's it.
All right? So that's his job, man. Edom is the devil. His job is to deceive you. And the world has been deceived.
Yeah.
I got a scripture, the same chapter says that too.
Yeah, well, you know, castles with defensive part, long bridges and moats. You know,
This one's surrounded completely by water.
That was Jake, and then Jake would even bring in exotic animals to put into the water to help protect it. When you see the cartoons when they got alligators and crocodiles in the moat, that was real, man. Because they didn't want you to through the night assassins to swim across the water and try to scale the walls. Right.
You got one right here. That's a perfect example right there.
You know.
And then they'll put oils and stuff, and if they did come to the water, they'll light it on fire and say, "Well, cross now, bitch."
Right. And they're not even indigenous to that part of the world. You have to import them type of animals.
That's it.
Water, man.
Exactly.
That's Jake.
Man.
This is John 8:44. It says, "Yield your father." I'm gonna start at 43. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, which is going to Cain. All right, and then Cain came back as Esau. He said, "And abode not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it."
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So Esau, man, he the biggest liar, man. So of course, you know, he tell you that he built the castles and he did all of this modern.
He'll tell you he's a European, and
Well,
he's not.
So Rock tells you rich not coming for a nigard, you know, then it says, you know, the righteous going to spend his goods riotously. Because Edom, they don't, even in this world, they don't spend money. Like Jake get $10 million, they go buy a fucking $8 million house. Can't even afford to pay a property tax. But that's Jake shit, they gonna build it up. Right, $13 to speak 2 languages. Let me say, that's what niggas do, man. It's just in our spirit, man. Edom ain't making no raw ass shit like this.
No.
Look what they ain't doing with their kingdom right now.
Exactly, man. Steve Harvey said it the other day.
You live in condos. You get millions. You living next to a bunch of other motherfuckers. Niggas didn't want you to swim across their shit.
That's it. That's it.
Look at the fuck
Hey,
out of here.
investment.
That's it. Hey, Steve, I think it was.
Yeah, the nigga Young Thug said I'm in the backyard for the
have
year.
houses on acres, so they don't want to.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was Steve Harvey. One of these motherfucking people out there. One of these Jake insiders. They were saying how Esau, and I've heard many comedians speak on it. How you got Bill Gates and what he was a pair of New Balances that cost $25 was a pair of fucking jeans that cost $10 and a motherfucking button-down white shirt that cost $10. His fit cost $30, and then we got Jake spending their whole check and make sure you got Louis Vuitton and all this other bullshit, man.
That's the right spirit to be in.
Because we want the best.
Even
You know?
King Solomon said
He
it.
had the first horse. Remember the song about it? He brought Egyptian horses and Arabian horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, King Solomon said, man, hey, look, I get all my wealth and then leave it to somebody else and basically fuck it up.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? He's like,
It's
shit.
all vanity.
It's all vanity. He said, man, I'm gonna spend this shit. Hey, what's the
Big
point?
this castle.
Somebody's the king. What's the point of having all this gold and shit and you don't fucking spend it?
Now,
Esau, so like Esau had all these millions and then come fucking go to fucking Walmart and still can't put a fucking outfit
That
together.
shit going on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, that
That
shit
shit
is
weak
fucking
as hell.
madness. It's just fucking madness.
Man, I bet you the king of this castle ain't been to all his castles. All right?
The castle.
Oh,
Hey, look at 50 Cent. He talked about
He said about his house. He say,
about his-
he say, man, you look and see, you don't even want to go to the other side of the damn building. Man.
He's
You run too far.
Look, he's too far.
And it was a joke. The white dude laughed. Like, nigga, you weak ass
So
nigga.
why do you have such a big house? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you with your man? Why not?
And Lil Wayne said it, 10 bathrooms.
I would just
out
that
there.
shit all day. I literally
Because we kingdom minded, even though Jake don't even know that they're the kings of the earth, man. That's why they kill each other all the goddamn time. Jake kill each other so much because they have the king off with their head. Yo, you came around against me, off your fucking head. Just like that. That's a king mentality, man.
Nah,
The
anything
last
else?
scriptures.
All right.
Hey, that sound like that.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Con. Well, then with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekakodash.
Wa Ababa Ball.
Why you got 10 car garage?
Turn those
Oh, God,
machines
oh,
back
God.
on.
That was a real shit.